I had been saving the money I earned from working hard since I was single. Even after getting married, I continued to save diligently, but I never expected my savings to be used for something like that. Just because we're married doesn't mean anything goes. I'll do whatever it takes to protect my children's future. My name is Emily, and I'm 33 years old. I married Kevin when I was 24, and I got pregnant soon after. We currently have 2 children. Our son is 7 years old, and our daughter is 5. Both of them have been growing up healthy and strong without any major illnesses. I returned to my old job when our daughter turned 3. It has been 2 years since then, and now I earn about the same as Kevin. If I were to earn any more, it might hurt his pride, so I intentionally hold back a little, but that's a secret. Kevin only provides the bare minimum for living expenses, so all the savings for myself and our children come from my salary. I really wish he would contribute more, though. Whenever I bring up a topic about money, he always looks annoyed and even gets grumpy with the kids. Because of this, our rule at home is to avoid discussing money in front of him. One day, his mother showed up at our house. I happened to be working from home that day because of the pandemic. "Emily, please, let me stay with you for a while," she pleaded as soon as I opened the door. "What? What's wrong?" "My husband is asking for a divorce." "A divorce?" It was no wonder I was shocked. Kevin's parents were known as the perfect couple in the neighborhood. I couldn't believe that her husband would ask for a divorce. I couldn't ignore her who was sobbing uncontrollably, so I invited her into the house. Then, I decided to listen to her story for the time being. "I'm sorry to ask while you're upset, but why did he suddenly ask for a divorce?" She sniffled and began to explain. "I haven't done anything wrong. But he just says he can't stand being with me anymore and wants a divorce. It's so unfair." "What? He really said that? Don't you think it's awful, Emily? You must feel sorry for me too." Her intense approach was overwhelming. However, I couldn't believe that her gentle husband would ask for a divorce without a reason. Maybe she was hiding something from me? Something that would make even the kindest man angry. I decided to calm her down and wait for Kevin to come home from work. When he arrived, we put the kids to bed and started talking with his mother. "So, Mom, why is there talk about a divorce?" he asked. She started crying again. "I'd like to know that myself. I've worked so hard for him all these years, and suddenly he says, 'I can't live with you anymore.' Can you believe it? No, there's no way he would come to that conclusion without a reason." Listening to her side of the story wasn't getting us anywhere. She has always had a selfish and demanding side. So I thought that perhaps the reason for the divorce might lie with her. "Well, are you sure there's nothing you can think of? I just can't imagine your husband demanding a divorce without a reason." As I subtly defended him, she glared at me. "Emily, are you taking his side? I've been trying my best as a wife, and he's the one who wants the divorce. Shouldn't you be on my side?" It's not about taking sides. I just think your husband wouldn't ask for a divorce without a reason. You know he's not like that, right? What do you know about him, Emily? And why are you defending him so much? Don't tell me." She paused, giving me a suspicious look. "Emily, are you having an affair with him?" "What?" This conversation was heading in a very strange direction. Of course, there was nothing inappropriate between him and me. Kevin reassured his mother, "Mom, that's not it. Emily doesn't like older men," which thankfully calmed her down a bit. But still, something was off. She kept insisting she had done nothing wrong but refused to explain why the divorce was happening. I asked Kevin to call his father over, even though it was late at night. His mother said, "I don't want to see him," and went out. His father rushed over and immediately apologized. "I'm so sorry for troubling you, Emily. I really feel terrible. I decided to get to the bottom of this. Sorry to ask so suddenly, but why did you ask your wife for a divorce?" He looked troubled and responded, "Actually, she used up all of my savings, a total of $100,000. $100,000. The amount shocked me. Yes, $100,000. It's an unbelievable amount, right? I couldn't help but wonder what she could have spent so much money on. What did she spend it on? I asked, trying to stay calm. He sighed deeply. She just says she used it for living expenses, but that's impossible. I give her a set amount for living expenses every month, and on top of that, she gets pocket money. She's definitely lying, isn't she? After listening to the story, I couldn't help but think, it's possible if it's her. That's because she often visited our house and casually asked, "Could you lend me some money?" without any hesitation. She even once tried to take money from my wallet, saying, "We're family, so it's okay, right?" Since then, I've been more wary of her, so his story seems oddly credible. She might actually do something like that, Kevin's father said with his shoulders slumped. If she explains what she spent it on and returns the money, I would reconsider the divorce. But she keeps insisting it was for living expenses. And we're getting nowhere. I really felt sorry for him. Even though living expenses are high, Kevin's father is an executive at a major company. It's hard to believe his salary would vanish on living expenses alone. Even with pocket money, spending $100,000 in a year is abnormal. Her behavior was indeed concerning. At this point, Kevin, who had been silent, spoke up. "So if she returns the money, there won't be a divorce?" "That's right." "Okay. I'll talk to Mom and handle it from here," Kevin assured his father. But one question remained. How would Kevin's mother, a housewife, manage to return the money? There's no way Kevin would cover for her, right? After sending off Kevin's father, his mother returned after a while. How did it go? Did he say anything? She bombarded Kevin with questions, and he answered confidently. "I had a bad feeling. If you can repay the $100,000 you spent, Dad said he won't go through with the divorce." At his words, she flatly declared, "Impossible. There's no way I have that kind of money. Besides, I only spend it on living expenses and didn't do anything wrong." She seemed to genuinely believe she was blameless. Maybe Kevin's father should just go through with the divorce. As I was thinking this, Kevin said something outrageous. "Don't worry, Mom. Emily has a lot of savings." What? I couldn't help but raise my voice at his audacity to rely on my money as if it were a matter of course. His mother's eyes lit up as she turned to me. "Really? You should have said so sooner. Now I won't have to get divorced." No, 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 no. What kind of nonsense is this? Don't take Kevin's idiot words seriously. There's no way you can just use someone else's savings. You fools. I calmed myself down and said, "I can't lend you my savings. If you really need it, borrow it from Kevin." Hearing this, Kevin got angry for some reason. "Hey, Emily. Don't you want to help my mom, who's in such trouble?" "That's right. Your savings could save me. And you don't want me to get divorced, do you?" She joined Kevin and also started spouting nonsense. These two really are a pair. I felt genuine sympathy for Kevin's father. Annoyed by my attitude, Kevin erupted again. "Are you kidding me? You can't lend just $100,000 to help my mom, our family? Make her life a little easier. Just $100,000? Something snapped inside me at that comment. Then why don't you come up with the $100,000? If it's just $100,000, you should be able to manage, right? It's a small amount to you, isn't it? It's different for me. This money is something I've saved up since I was single. It's for our children's future. Why should I use it for your mother?" I let out all my anger. His mother was left speechless. Kevin was shocked and pulled me outside. "We're going to my parents' house now. I'll get my sister to convince you." "What?" Ignoring my protests, Kevin roughly shoved me into the passenger seat and his mother into the back, speeding to his parents' house. This is bad. His sister hates me. She adored Kevin and couldn't forgive me for taking him away. When we first met, she said, "I will never accept you as family. Don't ever talk to me again. Goodbye." Since then, I hadn't spoken to her, but I knew she would undoubtedly side with her brother. Thinking I'd be at a disadvantage if I gained another enemy, I tried to escape as soon as we arrived at the house. But Kevin grabbed my arm and dragged me inside. His sister was sitting in the living room and glaring at me. What's going to happen to me now? If his sister joins in, I won't be able to protect my savings. Ignoring my feelings, Kevin started explaining everything to his sister. Listening silently, her face turned redder and redder. Then she stood up and towered over me. Her hand came towards my face. Is she going to slap me? I instinctively closed my eyes tightly and braced myself. But it was different. She wrapped her arms tightly around me. Huh? What? Kevin and his mother shocked by the unexpected scene. Of course, I was the most surprised, but more than that, I was confused, not understanding what was happening. Emily, I'm really sorry. It seems my stupid brother said something outrageous. Don't worry anymore. Leave it to me and go take a rest. With that, she sat me down on a sofa and turned to Kevin and her mother with a furious expression. Hey, you two. Who do you think you are? Why are you mad at us? The one you should be mad at is Emily for not giving us $100,000. Isn't it a wife's duty to make things easier for her husband's mother? Kevin shouted at his sister, trying to hold his ground. But she raised her voice and yelled back at him. Who do you think you are? If you want to make things easier, do it yourself. Just $100,000? Do you have any idea how hard it is to earn $100,000? Huh. Wow. I couldn't help but be impressed by her boldness. Why is she, who was supposed to be my enemy, standing up for me? As I pondered, she seemed to read my thoughts and said, actually, at first, I hated you because you took away my beloved brother. But as I heard from him how hard you were working, balancing childcare and work, I started to like you. I thought, if it's her, I can trust Kevin to her. If anything happens to Emily, I will definitely help her. Is that so? Yeah, though I didn't expect Kevin to mess up this badly. She smiled at me and then turned to lecture her mother. Mom, why don't you stop lying already? What are you talking about? I know you've been going to the bar. You've probably spent the living expenses on the bartender, haven't you? Wasn't his name Jake? She showed us several pictures on her phone. The images showed her mother handing over bundles of cash to a man who looked like a bartender. Looking at the dates, it seemed she was giving him money every Monday. Mom? What is this? No. This is... Right. I was just giving him my pocket money. I never used the living expenses. So you don't deny you're spending money on him. That's impossible. Because the pocket money you get is only about $300 a month. How could you give him thousands every week? What are you doing here? Kevin looked like he realized his mistake. They both seemed to have forgotten the possibility that his father might be home. Still thinking he could win, Kevin turned to me and said, if you refuse my mom, I'll divorce you. Divorce? Me and you? You can't do it, right? Of course not. You wouldn't dare become a single mother suddenly, would you? If you don't want that, then give my mom the $100,000. If it was just my problem, I'd consider divorce. But I have children. Even if I get custody, it would mean taking their father away from them. Unable to decide easily, his sister spoke firmly to me. Emily, listen. If things stay like this, your kids will grow up with this horrible father. Yes. Do you want your kids to turn out like him? Wouldn't it be better without such a father? If being a single mom is tough, I'll support you as much as you need. Do it for your kids. Tears streamed down my face at her words. That's right. What am I hesitating for? Awakened, I turned to Kevin and said, shall we get a divorce? What? Do you really understand what that means? I understand everything. This is the best move for my kids and me to be happy. Of course, I'll get custody. You'll also pay alimony and child support. With that, I left his parents' house and went straight to the city hall to get the divorce petition. I quickly signed it, returned to his parents' house, and handed the divorce petition to Kevin. "Leave it to me. I'll make sure he signs it." "Yes. Thank you so much." As I was about to leave the house again, Kevin grabbed my arm. "Hey, Emily. Are you really going through with this divorce? You're joking, right?" "I intend to." "Why are you so calm about it?" "Excuse me? You were the one who brought up divorce first." "Yeah, but..." The next morning, I submitted the divorce petition to the court first thing. Kevin's sister had delivered it to me early in the morning. A week later, at a lawyer's office, a meeting took place with Kevin, his parents, my parents, and me. After being thoroughly scolded by his sister and his father, Kevin agreed to give me custody and pay alimony and child support every month. 1 year later, I haven't seen Kevin or his mother since then. Apparently, she couldn't stop going to the bar and ended up using Kevin's money. Fed up with her, he requested a transfer at work and moved without telling anyone. Now, even his father has given up on her, and she lives with distant relatives, helping with farming. I live with my kids at my parents' house. It's close to my workplace, and I'm really grateful to my parents for taking us in. It looks like I'll be living as a single mom for a while, but I have no regrets. I'm steadily saving money for my kids' future. I need to keep working hard at my job, housework, and raising my kids so they won't have to suffer.